The uncertainty and the risk is super high. Organic growth is inherently risky. You're investing in unproven strategies, you're investing in a new market and product development, and you have absolutely no guarantee of success at all. Even with thorough market research, unexpected challenges come up, things you don't think about, from changing customer preferences to economic downturns, which is significantly affecting us now. But that can derail those growth plans. And once those plans get derailed, that's your revenue stream, that's your profit.
Hey there, it's Jeff Luther, and you are diving into the podcast for the Service Business Blueprint. This is where I walk with you and help you unlock the secrets to building a thriving service-based business. We talk about everything from starting out to setting milestones in your company you didn't even know would exist. We'll cover entrepreneurship, personal growth, mindset, everything you need for success in your service-based business. You ready to build that blueprint?
All right, welcome back to the Service Business Blueprint. I am your host, Jeff Luther. Today, I am going to kind of jump in with both feet. And this is one of the most critical decisions that a business leader can face when talking about growth or considering growth. Should you expand your business by acquisition, by buying a company, or by organic growth? This topic stirs a lot of debate, but today I'm going to make a case for acquisition, why buying a business would be the smarter move. And I want to be very clear. I have never purchased a business. I started my business from zero, started it on my own, never had a partner, and I've never purchased a business otherwise. So I want to be very clear about that. I have expanded into a different geographic area, and I do have experience there. But I want to be very clear, I've never purchased a business. Everything that I talk about on this show, aside from guests that I have on, everything I talk about is from direct experience, things that I have done and experienced on my own. But I have expanded into another area, and I did it through organic growth. So I do have some experience there. I want to start just by outlining like the key reasons why buying a business can be more advantageous than organic growth. And this is from experience now looking back. Number one is the speed of growth. Organic growth is so slow. It requires years to see significant results. And that was one of the things I didn't think about when I go way back to when I started my business in 2002. I didn't think about how long it took. Like my first inspection was in June of 2002, and my second inspection was not until August of 2002. Leading up to June, I had all that marketing to do, everything to do to get my business going. So I totally forgot how long it takes. Acquiring a business, you can rapidly scale your operations. You can tap into an established customer base. You bring in new revenue streams almost overnight. I mean, really, it is overnight. A perfect example of this is when Facebook bought Instagram in 2012. Rather than developing its own photo sharing platform, which I think was the plan, they just bought Instagram. And they already gained that significant traction. This allowed Facebook to expand its product offering and its user base immediately. Market expansion. Acquisition provides immediate access to new markets, to new geographies, to a new customer segment. And I want to be clear, like a new market, I don't mean like a whole new area. That's common sense, right? We know that. But for example, like in the service business, like in my business, we rely heavily on real estate agents, which are local experts, right? And they're the ones that work with buyers and the sellers. So we're coming into a new market organically is really hard. Like, who are you? You're the new kids on the playground. But when you have an acquisition, you buy into that market, you already have established market name, established market reputation. When Amazon acquired Whole Foods in 2017, it didn't just buy a grocery chain. It was buying a well-established brand with customer loyalty and a customer base with physical locations, and they had a deep expertise in the organic food market. So it was much different than just buying a grocery store. You also acquire talent and expertise. So when you buy into a business, you buy a business that's already there, you're also getting the talent that's already there. You're getting the local expertise that's already there. For example, when I started my inspection business in another state, I didn't know the neighborhood. I had no history. My inspection business was in Atlanta. I grew up in Atlanta. So I had 30 years of my life there in Atlanta, or whatever that number is. And I could talk about streets. I could talk about neighborhoods. I knew neighborhoods. I knew the transitions. But going into a new geographic area, I didn't know the neighborhoods. I didn't know the transitions that happened in those neighborhoods, the up and coming neighborhoods, the ones to stay away from. I didn't know that. So in conversation around that, I was lost. This can be super valuable in industries where specific skills or knowledges are hard to come by. Like, for example, one of the companies we tried to buy was an engineering firm. So I would also be buying that expertise or that talent. That's something that we don't have that exists in our firm currently. A good example is Google when they acquired DeepMind. DeepMind is an AI research company, artificial intelligence. So instead of building their own AI division, they bought into it. They acquired one of the most talented teams in the world, and that accelerated its AI capabilities. This should go without saying. This is obvious once I mention it, but you also reduce your competition. So going into a new market organically, just starting out brand new, you have all these competitors out there. So if you go and by acquisition, you buy out a company, that removes your competition. I know it seems like common sense, but that's a big one. Acquisitions, they help reduce the competition, then they also consolidate the market. When you buy out a competitor, not only do you eliminate a potential rival, or what really would be a rival, you also gain that market share. You gain their market shares, theoretically, right? Think about Disney. Disney acquired, I think, Pixar, obviously, and I think it was Marvel. It wasn't... I'm pretty sure it was Marvel, and Lucasfilms. And by bringing these companies under that one umbrella, Disney not only secured top tier content, they got all that content, but they also consolidated its position as a global entertainment giant. And that was huge. Now, we'll discuss kind of why organic growth, while it's appealing theoretically, it can often be fraught with challenges. And the biggest thing that people talk about is cost. Well, I wouldn't buy anything. I don't want to have that cash outlay and have that money outlaid when I can do it on my own. I know I've done it on my own. But these are some of the challenges. And I know these to be very clear. And this is where I'm speaking from experience. It is resource intensive. Building a business organically, it requires significant time, money, effort. Developing new products, sometimes in a new market, even if the business is the same, there's some different product demands, like WIN certification that we have to do in one region where we don't in another. Entering new markets, scaling operations, it's a huge demand and it requires substantial resources. It's a big drawback, especially for smaller businesses with limited capital. The risk of overextending is really high, and the return on the investment, it might take years to materialize. And what people don't realize is when you go into a new market, you think, okay, well, I'm going into a new market. I've got 2 employees to hire. I have 2 pieces of equipment. I have limited overhead. I don't have office space. I've got my licensure, my software. And then you work your profit margin from there. So you think, okay, well, I'll be profitable in X number of days or X number of months. One thing we don't consider is the draw that's on your existing resources, the draw on your people, the draw on the management team, the draw on your marketing. And that should all be factored into your profit equation. And it's a big drain on resources trying to start a new industry. You got those 2 new people, yeah. But those 2 people they have experience and knowledge that they need to draw on from your existing organization. Another downside is the uncertainty and the risk. The uncertainty and the risk is super high. Organic growth is inherently risky. You're investing in unproven strategies. You're investing in a new market and product development, and you have absolutely no guarantee of success at all. Even with thorough market research, unexpected challenges come up, things you don't think about, from changing customer preferences to economic downturns, which is significantly affecting us now. But that can derail those growth plans. And once those plans get derailed, that's your revenue stream, that's your profit. There is a lot of risk in doing it organically. And I keep talking about market, but like, for example, my business, home inspection business, and home inspection is tied to real estate agents, which are the local market experts that work with buyers. So real estate agents have to, not only does the customer, the end user, the buyer, have to accept you, but the real estate agent has to accept you as well. And when you're coming into a new market, there may be things that they don't like about you, maybe things that in your business that worked well in another market that might not in this market. So that's something to think about. You have a slower pace to competitive advantage. Today's fast-paced business environment, slow growth can be a huge disadvantage. While you're building your business, you're trying to get profitable in that same business. Your competitors who are already established and already profitable might opt for being much quicker. They might opt for acquisition and might already be steps ahead of you. They might be acquiring the competitor that you could have acquired because they're already established, they're already growing. And when big changes come, they're already set up and ready to go. Think about this. Lag can be terrible in like a tech-driven industry where innovation cycles are really short. You innovate, you're short, you innovate, you're short, and competitors catch up. And being first to market is critical. So the home inspection business or service business altogether moves a little bit slower, but that could be a critical piece in other industries. And organic growth lends to talent gaps. As I talked about earlier, acquiring a business means you also get that talent, you also get that experience. When you're growing organically, finding, hiring, retaining all the right talent, that can be a slow and costly process. And going through that interview process, building a high-performing team from the ground up is a big challenge. And any delays in securing key personnel, that does hinder growth for sure. And I can tell you, going through that interview process when you're trying to expand in a new region is really hard to do. Setting up interviews, are you going to interview there? Will you fly them to your home base or your home office? It's tough. It slows that process down. So, and then also when you're slowing that process down, you have to remember that the people that you're interviewing, they're looking for employment, right? And so the longer that lag time is to hire, the more chance you have of that person finding a job with another organization. It's tough. It really is tough. Things that we don't think about. So while buying a business offers a lot of advantages, in my opinion, I mean, in my experience, but I have not bought a business. I just want to keep prefacing that. It's not without its challenges. I do know that. And that was one of the things that hindered us from successfully buying a business in our last couple of years. But here are a few strategic considerations to keep in mind before you make an acquisition. Your due diligence. We all know that. Thorough due diligence is critical. Understand the financial health, the culture, the operational capabilities of the company that you're buying. Overlooking that can be a huge cost when you're down the road. For example, when AOL acquired Time Warner in 2009, that's one of the most disastrous mergers in history in the business world. And that was due to insufficient due diligence. They were just moving on. The cultural integration. And it's funny because when I interview, one of the questions that I'm asked most often that I don't have an answer to, people say, what's the culture like at your company? Like, I don't know. People like it here. I do know that. But merging two businesses involves more than just aligning the business processes. It's about integrating cultures, integrating people. This can be one of the most challenging aspects of a business acquisition, is trying to merge those two cultures together. Successful integration requires a clear plan, strong leadership, and that ensures that both teams can work together harmoniously. That's a tough one. That is a challenge. Financial readiness. Acquisition requires substantial financial resources for the existing company. It's essential to assess whether or not your business is ready and has the necessary capital for accessing another or for acquiring another business. And the risk there is that you jeopardize what was financial stability that you had prior to that acquisition. Being realistic about the cost. Ensure that the acquisition aligns with your long-term strategic goals. That's a big one. So post-acquisition, the strategy there, this is a tough one. The work doesn't stop when the deal is closed. Having a well-defined post-acquisition strategy is crucial to realize the full benefits of that acquisition. Knowing what you're going to do next. Thinking about the employees that might leave. Having a plan for what to do if they do leave. Having a plan to keep them. Having a plan for retention. Going back to that due diligence, in my opinion, part of the due diligence is not only going through the books and interviewing the people selling the business. Interview the people that work in the business. Interview the boots on the ground. What are they happy about? What don't they like? What are they scared of? What are their fears? Knowing their fears will help you in navigating that transition. Like if their fear is that the new customers won't like the new owner, have a party and have the new customers come in so that the employees see the interaction with the new customers or the customers and the new owner. Show that that's not going to be an issue. Putting that fear to rest is going to be one of the best things you can do in that transition from acquisition. So in conclusion, this has been kind of from a high level and mostly opinion. 50%. How about 50% opinion? 50% opinion, 50% experience. While organic growth definitely has its merits, it was way cheaper for us to grow organically than it was to go in and buy. I would not do that again. But a Camry is way cheaper than a Bugatti, right? But I understand a Bugatti is a hell of a ride. Buying a business offers a faster, more efficient, less risky path to expansion. By acquiring an established company, you gain immediate access to new markets, talent, resources, all while reducing your competition. However, success in acquisitions requires careful planning. We talked about that, thorough due diligence, a strong post-acquisition strategy. I still think that's the way to go. Organic growth is cheaper, but holy shit, it's harder. I mean, way harder than I ever thought it would be. And it's not like it's harder and there's a smooth path. It's harder and then you keep getting curveballs. So listen, I appreciate you guys tuning in here to the Service Business Blueprint. Again, I'm your host, Jeff Luther. If you found this episode helpful, or if you have an opinion, if you want to disagree with me, I would love to hear that. Or if you have a different experience, please share that in the comments. And if you're considering an acquisition for your next big move, I hope today's discussion helped you out a little bit. Or if you're considering organic growth in your next big move, I hope this was helpful. And I'm happy to answer any questions about my experience. So until next time, I do love seeing you guys here. Keep grinding out, keep pushing that business forward. And if there's anything that we can do to help here at Service Business Blueprint, I would love to. Hit that like button, tell 2 friends, and we will definitely see you next time.
Thanks for hanging out on the Service Business Blueprint with me, Jeff Luther. Stay in the loop as we keep delivering these strategies to supercharge your service business. Hit subscribe, leave a review, be part of our growing community. Now you have someone to walk with you as we create your service business blueprint. Until next time, remember, where you focus is where your energy goes. Beliefs turn to things, so choose the good ones.